Yo, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive. Everybody guys, our team builder here for week 3 of the P4G Tier 3 and below league. The St. Louis Rampardos are taking on the Maryland Torterrapins and Coach Kelly under the radar. It is looking to be a pretty epic matchup with potential playoff implications early on in the season here, as Kelly is a tremendous battler. For those who don't know, I've faced him a few times in league and he tends to edge me out just a little bit here and there. I believe he beat me one time a couple seasons ago with a Scarf Braviary, and the last time we played was in NPA earlier this season, and he beat me there as well. You know, it was with Stack Attacka, I think was the main thing there. I just didn't have enough for Stack Attacka, but here we are, the Tier 3 and below league. We're sitting at 1-1. He is also 1-1. You know, we picked up a nice win last week, which is good. Looking to pick up a W this week, though. Pretty important stuff. The Rain team has been pretty fun to build with, and we'll see how it goes. So match will be up tomorrow. As always, hit that like button down below and subscribe if you're new. I'm going to run through his team here, talk about what I think he's going to bring, so on and so forth, and then I'll talk about my team. Metagross, of course, Steel and Psychic type, good stealth rocker, very bulky. I expect it to be brought this match. It's very, very reliable because it's one of his ways to deal with Slurpuff, so he kind of has to bring it. It'll definitely have Bullet Punch. I think an Assault Vest variant makes a lot of sense, so I'm expecting that from his Metagross there, or like kind of offensive, but I think he's gonna have Assault Vest makes a lot of sense because he can run like Thunder Punch and Bullet Punch, and then maybe Meteor Mash or something like that. Aromatisse, very bulky fairy type. You know, it can Trick Room, but generally it's gonna be like Moonblast. Does get Nasty Plot, can set up, can pass wishes. Druddigon is his dragon type, which is a very bulky dragon type, of course. A lot of bulk already. Stealth Rocks, Glare, cool move there. You know, I expect him to be, if he brings it, like kind of pseudo offensive, maybe team support. He's got the Sneasel, which I think is a potential bring because he's got to be really worried about Tornadus, and Sneasel helps against that as it is, you know, faster, I believe, at 115 base speed, if I'm not mistaken. It also gets priority in Ice Shard, which could be really useful for Slurpuff. And it just gives him something to outspeed my Tornadus. He's got the Donphan, which is incredibly physically bulky, does get priority in Ice Shard as well, which again, very important for things like Tornadus. Does have Sturdy as well as kind of a fail-safe against Slurpuff, and can set up Stealth Rocks and remove those hazards with Rapid Spin. Generally, it's gonna have Earthquake, maybe Knockoff, and you could also see something like Rock Slide or Head Smash, a couple scary different options there in case he's worried about Rotom. Yanmega, he's brought it both games, and I really hope he doesn't bring it this game, but it is a very scary Pokemon. Yanmega in lower tiers is nuts, and actually, Yanmega is one of those Pokemon that I think can be really, really effective in any tier. It's usually looked down upon because of its glaring 4x weakness. Stealth Rocks makes it very difficult to bring in, but it's got two amazing abilities in Speed Boost and Tinted Lens. Now, Tinted Lens makes it so if it uses a move that's not very effective against a Pokemon, it'll do the normal damage. So Choice Specs, Tinted Lens, Bug Buzzes, and Air Slashes just do tremendous amounts of damage to everything in my team, but a Speed Boost variant is also very solid as he can run Protect to potentially try to stall out turns of Rain, and also Speed Boost above things like Tornadus, and even Speed Boost above my Rain Sweepers, so he may opt for a Speed Boost variant because he doesn't really have a ton of speed on his team. Aside from Sneasel, his team's very, very slow, and he doesn't really have a lot of things that are very good with Choice Scarves. You know, outside of maybe like Sneasel, I don't think is really worth bringing a Choice Scarf on. Druddigon, I don't think is worth bringing a Choice Scarf on, and the same goes for Metagross. I think they fill better roles. So when I look at his team, I don't really see a lot of scarfing opportunities, which makes me think that a Speed Boost Yanmega can make a lot of sense. It also gives him the opportunity to switch up moves if he wants to go that route. But either way, a Choice Specs Yanmega or a Speed Boosting Protect Yanmega, both are very, very scary. If I had to choose, I think he's gonna bring it. I hope he brings the Speed Boost set because I actually can handle that better with this team than I can the other set, and before I get swept by Speed Boost Yanmega. Musharna is a very bulky Psychic type Pokemon with things like Synchronize and stuff like that. It's just very difficult to take down just because of its sheer amount of bulk, and of course it does have the ability to set up with Calm Minds. Monferno, a little bit of priority there. You know, it's a nice little fire type that can set up on you. It can also set Stealth Rocks if I'm not mistaken. With Eviolite, it gets a decent amount of bulk, but it's not really too crazy, especially against a Rain team. I don't really anticipate Monferno to make a ton of, you know, really an appearance. It does get like Thunder Punch and stuff, but again, I just don't think it makes that much sense. Croconaw, really cool Pokemon again, naturally bulky, kind of like a little baby for Alligator essentially is really what it is, and it does have a decent power output, so it can be effective there. Lantern, 1,000,000%, he's got to bring Lantern. Lantern can have Volt Absorb or Water Absorb. In my playtesting, and I actually have started to do practice matches again. When I tend to not do as well as I want, I start to practice match again. So I'm doing practice matches. So I did a few for this. You know, my opponents ended up bringing Volt Absorb Lantern, which I thought was surprising. I would more expect a Water Absorb set because then he can guarantee switch into things like Politoed. But either way, Lantern is too good to not bring, because when I have Rain, you know, it's one of those Pokemon that can take on those Rain type moves and hopefully handle them well, or not handle them well in my situation, but for him. And then Carnivine, do it for the Vine, baby. Carnivine is one of those Pokemon that I think could bring, could be a bring or not. It does get Defog, and it does have the ability to have Levitate, so it can float above the sticky webs and potentially remove hazards that way. It can also be just annoying with like Sleep Powder and stuff, so a little tricky there. In terms of what he's bringing though, Metagross, Lantern, 100%. I like know those two are coming. I think Yanmega's too good to not bring. So I think those three are coming. I think Druddigon has a good potential to come. I think Sneasel and Donphan probably round out the lineup. That would be my best guess on what he brings. You know, I could see Musharna, I could see Aromatisse maybe, and I could see Carnivine. I'm really not expecting the Monferno or the Croconaw, and again, I think Aromatisse is a little bit less likely. I think he has some viability with some of the other Pokemon a little bit more so. Yeah, so let's talk about our team and what we're bringing and why we're bringing it. Kicking things off here, we've got our Excalibur, Escavalier, bringing that Leftovers, Adamant, Overcoat Leftovers. Overcoat primarily just for that Sleep Powder potential from Carnivine, which could be running HP Fire. I'm sure he's going to have to attack HP Fire on things, including Metagross. Metagross may be carrying Hidden Power Fire. It also probably has Zen Headbutt too, as I mentioned earlier with its moveset. But this set is really, really solid. In playtesting, it was super good. Leftovers over Assault Vest, because even though like it would help against Yanmega and stuff like that, having Leftovers is really good because a lot of this Pokemon, like it just helps me switch into things. It helped me switch into his Druddigon, it helps me switch into his Aromatisse, his Donphan, his Sneasel, his Musharna, all those things like I switch into and like start to heal up over the turn. So I just feel like it's really useful. Megahorn, pretty obvious, like my main way to hit something really, really hard. Swords Dance to boost my attack to like really, really high levels and basically make it so he has no switch-ins. Knockoff primarily for Metagross, but also for getting rid of items. And Iron Head is there for the Aromatisse, pretty much. But it also gives me a 100% accurate move to hit things like Yanmega and Sneasel. I don't have Drill Run on this thing. I'm going to have to Mega Horn or knock off against the Lantern. Escavalier's primary usefulness is when Rain is up, because it's a little safer due to Hidden Power Fires and stuff like that. So when the Rain is up, this thing is better, but you know, I have to be really careful against things like Lantern. I do have a lot of speed on this thing. I'm running 92 speed EVs. That's going to allow me to outspeed Musharna and Aromatisse, unless they're running speed, which chances are they aren't. So I don't think Kelly's going to expect me to run that much speed, but it gives me that security that if he does bring Aromatisse or Musharna, I can outspeed them, which he may not expect, especially if they're teching Hidden Power Fire or setting up or something like that. So I felt like it was worth running the speed for those two Pokemon. Next Pokemon we're bringing is very important. It is our Voltergeist, our Rotom here, Rotom Heat. It is a very defensive set, pretty much max defense or max HP, a lot of defense, a little bit of special defense, a little bit of speed. Primarily, this thing is a good switch into Metagross. It's a good switch into Donphan, unless he's carrying Head Smash or Rock Slide. It's a good switch into, it can take one hit from Yanmega. Choice Specs Yanmega pretty much blows me back, but nevertheless, I can take a hit. But we're rocking Overheat, Volt Switch, Pain Split, and Toxic. Overheat is there just to get some big damage off on something, just in case. But primarily, Pain Split, Toxic, just whittle down his team and provide a good defensive pivot for his team. This is why I'm hoping he doesn't bring, Volt Absorb Lantern, because I want to be able to Volt Switch around when I switch this thing in. But this is most likely my lead, and the reason why it's my lead is because if he leads Yanmega, I don't want to be put on the back foot, so I probably have to lead Voltergeist. If he leads Donphan, I can Toxic. If he leads Metagross, I can just Volt Switch out or threaten him there. If he leads Druddigon, I can Toxic it. So I have options. If he leads Lantern, I can even just take a Scald and Toxic it too. So we have options. So this is most likely my dedicated lead against him. The next Pokemon we're bringing, kind of out of order, I'm bringing the Rain, but we got Nautical here, bro, our Kabutops making its debut. I was very disappointed to find out that this thing does not learn Earthquake. I prepped the team, I built the team with Earthquake on it, because I build my teams in Pokemon, or in Excel, not Pokemon Excel, Microsoft Excel, and I had Earthquake on it, and then I found out it doesn't even learn Earthquake, but I had to kind of switch things up there. But we're running Adamant, Swift Swim, Rocky MZ. Rocky MZ is to nuke something like Lantern. With that Stone Edge, we can really, really hurt the Lantern after just a tiny bit of chip damage. We really put in the work there. Rapid Spin is a safety net for Rotom, because I do feel like Rotom's really important in this match, and Stealth Rock is there because it helps against Yanmega. I do want to try to get rocks up. In my playtesting, it was really hard to do, especially with him having hazard removal. It's very difficult to be able to get rocks up, but Waterfall's there to hit things hard as well. So between Waterfall and Stone Edge, we can hit pretty hard against this team. And again, the Rocky MZ is really meant to just nuke one thing. I get it sent in with Swift Swim. and I can hit something Rocky MZ. The other thing it's really nice against is if that Yanmega comes in and it speed boosts Yanmega and he goes for Protect to try to stall out turns of rain or whatever it may be, I can go Rocky MZ through the Protect, and I think we probably knock him out if I had to guess, or at least darn close. So even though it's only doing a quarter damage, it's still gonna do a lot. So that's really cool there. Polytoad is gonna be set in the rain. Obviously, we're bringing that Damp Rock Drizzle, so I have 8 turns of rain. That 8 turns is so crucial because it provides so much protection for a Scavalier. It provides rain opportunities with Swift Swim, with Kabutops, and so on and so forth. But Rest, Scald, Toxic, and Encore. Encore is really nice in this match. It helps me Encore Donphan. I can Encore Masharna or Aromatisse trying to set up, things like that. Toxic is there to wear down things like the Lantern and some of his other stuff, the Carnivine, Levitating, or whatever it may be, so I like that as an option. And then Scald is just to hit really hard. Again, I think Water Absorb makes sense on Lantern, and we can take Volt Switches and stuff, so I'm not super worried. I am running just Dry Rest, like with no Chesto Berry or anything like that. And the reason for that is, to me, getting up those rain turns is so important. So like being able to send this thing in, if it's super weak and I can rest and heal it back up, even if it's sleeping, like I can potentially bring it back in later to get more rain up. So it's really designed just to set the rain for the team. You know, so I really didn't feel like there was another 4th move that made a ton of sense. Like against, you maybe say, okay, you could use Ice Beam because that would help against like Druddigon, but at the same time, like, you know, I want to burn the Druddigon or I want to Toxic the Druddigon, and then otherwise, like, you could say, oh, well, you could have ran coverage for Lantern, but I want to Toxic the Lantern. So it really, like, I didn't feel like an Ice Beam maybe for Carnivine, but again, I want to Toxic that thing. So I have switch-ins either way to those Pokemon. Next Pokemon is Loco. He's getting pretty crazy here. He's got that modest Expert Belt Swift Swim, so 2 Swift Swim Sweepers, which is even more so why the rain is really important in this match. Ice Beam, Giga Drain, Hydro Pump, and Substitute. I originally had Surf over Substitute, but I decided to put Substitute on last minute because I feel like it's actually really good in my playtesting. One, it allows me to take potential Thunder Waves from Lantern and really give me a good opportunity in a 50-50 against Lantern. Ludicolo comes in, Lantern's on the field. I'm in a situation where Lantern's either gonna switch out or it's gonna stand, right? Those are the 2 options, or it's gonna stay in attack. So Lantern likely doesn't carry Signal Beam, I would guess, in this match. Doesn't really do that much, maybe 25-30%. So I don't think he's gonna carry Signal Beam. He's gonna probably have something like Thunder Wave, or he's probably gonna just want to Volt Switch out, or he's gonna want to Hard Switch out into a Druddigon or whatever it is. And the problem is like if I predict that and I go for Ice Beam on the Lantern, I put myself in a bad spot and he stays in. If I go for the Ice Beam and he you know, if I go for the Hydro Pump on the Lantern or Giga Drain on the Lantern, he goes to Druddigon or Metagross, then I'm in a bad spot. But if I substitute, then I take that prediction out of the equation because then I have a substitute in front of me, and again, it protects me against those different hazards. It protects me against him going for, you know, like I said, you know, a Thunder Wave or even a Volt Switch. I can live the Volt Switch with a substitute and be sitting there with a substitute in front of me with whatever comes in. So if he slow Volt Switch is expecting me to predict his Druddigon, and I don't have to predict it. I just have the safe bet there. And if he does stay in with Lantern and he goes for Signal Beam, breaks my substitute, whatever, I just Giga Drain. So we're kind of in the same spot. You know, so I felt like that was worth having. I felt like the substitute was worth having. I lose Surf, so if I miss Hydro Pump, it's going to be annoying. And it also does take away 1 turn from Swift Swim because we're essentially setting up. But I felt like it was worth having personally. So that's what I was going with. I felt like that's really good. We do have to be careful though because Yanmega's Bug Buzz does go through the substitute. Something to make note of there. But it's really nice. Like against like, you know, Donphan and things like that too. We can substitute and kind of find out what he wants to go for if it's a very obvious situation where I'm going to Giga Drain his face in. So I kind of like that. And last but not least is my Yanmega answer, and just a really good Pokemon against him in general. It is Adept, our Dragalge here, rocking Dragon Tail, Sludge Wave, Dragon Pulse, and Toxic Spikes. So Dragon Tail obviously is to phase him out, try to get him to switch around, maybe get that Yanmega in if I can get up rocks. Toxic Spikes are super good against him. They have like kind of a hit and miss, right? So they're going to be really good against like the Donphans, the Druddigons, the Lanterns, the Masharnas, the Aromatisse, those kind of Pokemon. They obviously don't do anything to Metagross, they don't do anything to Yanmega, and they don't do anything to Carnivine. So I have to be very cautious there, and obviously he can Rapid Spin away with his Donphan, but nevertheless, getting up those T-Spikes could be really useful. This is a really good switch into things like Carnivine. It's a good switch into Lantern. It's a good switch into Aromatisse, and you know, it can switch into Yanmega really well. A Choice Specs Yanmega looks like it about 3 hit KOs me with like Bug Buzz and stuff, so I can take those hits and I can fire off a big Sludge Wave and do some serious damage to Yanmega. Obviously I can't do anything to Metagross, so Metagross is a pretty free switch in, so I have to be very cautious there. I'm gonna have to make the right plays and kind of switch around, but if I can get up T-Spikes, that really weakens his team and puts us in a pretty good spot. So that's our team builder. I talked to you guys ears off, but it's a pretty important match and I really prepped a lot for it, so hopefully we can pick up a W against Kelly. I'm gonna go get ready for the match, guys. It'll be up tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you're new. My name is Dan. I also go by aDrive. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. Thanks so much for checking out my last video. If you like that one, you'll definitely like this one, and be sure to subscribe for more as I post Pokemon videos every single day.